You got 100 grand and you won't spend a grand, 4 grand on protecting that. You're crazy. You can't afford it. You can't afford not to. Welcome to the TED Talks podcast, and I am sitting here as a mentor telling you whether I think you do or don't need a mentor. So is this a biased podcast? No, not really, because only 1% of you are ever actually going to pay me. Most people are just going to take the free content, do nothing with it, do something with it, don't leave me a review with it, wink wink, hint hint. So realistically, I'm being pretty unbiased here because I've had mentors, have a mentor. I've had times where I haven't had mentors, so I can give you my personal experience, but I can also tell you what my mentees tell me, what I see in the market, and also what I see that people do and don't do. Because everyone will say to you, you need a mentor. You have to have a mentor to get ahead because, well, everyone does. The richest, wealthiest, most successful people, they have a mentor of some kind. And that mentor may not be a formal, here's 10 grand, be my mentor for a year. It could be someone that you network with, someone that you meet often, someone that you benefit each other. That, I'm not here to say necessarily what a mentor looks like, because you can make a mentor out of anyone. You don't need to have a formal structure, which I think it helps though when you do, and it helps when you pay for it. You're more likely to take the action. But what I mean is, successful people have a mentor, or they have mentorship in some kind of capacity. I think that's just a fact. It's very rare, very unusual for someone to be really successful, and doesn't have some type of mentorship. Oh, I learn best through mistakes. I learn best, like doing the thing and like on the ground. Listen, go waste 5 grand with a builder when I could have told you how to avoid those simple mistakes. Go do it. Honestly, if that helps you learn, crack on, yeah? Because you ain't getting the 5 grand back. That could have been mine. I could have booked a holiday. So one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, are you just never going to do it? Oh, we're going in the deep end here. But you have these goals, you have these dreams, you have this vision, you've saved up money, you've got the time, whatever it is. But realistically, are you just like most people who just talk shit and don't do anything? Are you that person? Look, it's cool, man. You lot keep the economy going around because you have like jobs. That's good. I'm an employer, I'm not an employee. Nothing wrong with being an employee, but I'm not an employee. So are you going to be an employee your whole life? Again, not a bad thing. Really not a bad thing, especially in some jobs. You make a shit ton of money, and have a good balance. But if you think you're a person who's probably not going to do it, and this is hard to be honest with yourself, because we all think we're bad and we're going to do it. But if you, year after year, it's just not happening because you're stuck, analysis paralysis, you don't know what to do, how to do it, where to do it, how, and you kind of have this self-realization. Maybe speak to your therapist about this, and you kind of realize, like, I'm not doing it. I've got the money, I've got the time, I've read the books, I'm not doing it. That is when you need to think, well, what is going to jump me, is going to kickstart me into doing it? Is it going to be, I've paid for education, so F me, I have to do it. I paid for it, I have to do it. Like, my money's in this, I've invested it, it's going to push me to do it. Is it that you don't have someone kicking your ass every week because, at work you do, you have a boss, you have a manager, whereas in your own business, you are like, just, go do it. Get up when you like, finish when you like, do what you like, but the bills still need paying. That's the devil of entrepreneurship, Like, you're in control. And if you've not been in control before, respectfully, most people are not, how the hell are you going to do it with your own money, your own bills, your own sometimes you need someone to kick your ass. You need someone to hold you accountable, and also to show you what to do. Now, right, this week do this, next week do that. But then there's 1% of people who don't need that. They're going to do it and they can do it by themselves. And then they'll need a mentor for a strategy session. They'll need a mentor for like, oh, we want to get into like cleaning industrial above 10 meters. Okay, you need to find that exact person and they're going to mentor you on that. But that's 1% of people. If you're listening to this, you're already in the top 10%, naturally. So take that. But I don't know how many of you are in the 1% of that 10%. 99% of you aren't. It's probably much higher than 1%, to be fair, my listeners. Like, let me give you our credit. But there is a small percentage who are going to do it. So, and this concept, of you can spend time learning the thing, making the mistakes, getting there. That'll take you 3 years. I'm throwing numbers out here, 3 years. Or you spend 10 grand and you learn it in 3 months and you hit the ground running, not making those mistakes, saving that money, making that money, having the connections, having the person behind you. You're paying to queue jump, right? You want to get on the plane faster, which I never understand. Like, I want to be on that plane last. Even when I'm in business, last. I only fly economy Europe, obviously, like, paying business to have a fucking spare seat between us, like, please. You're paying for that, you pay 50 quid extra. You want to queue jump at like Alton Towers and stuff. you pay extra, right? You want to get something ahead of other people, you wait outside the Nike store overnight, you camp to get those trainers. You've paid a commitment of your time. So, you can pay to play and you can pay to get ahead. Money makes more money, and money makes more money quicker than no money makes money, right? And of course, some people aren't going to have the funds, but there's so many people I speak to, plenty of money to invest in mentorship, in education, but oh no, I'll do it myself. I got to do it. Oh man, people don't also value the return on investment, and they also secretly believe they can do it themselves without punishment or pain or making mistakes and losing money. But you will. You will. You absolutely will. We all have. Are those the hardest lessons to learn? Well, are they the most painful lessons? Yes. Do they really stick with you? Yes. Could I have been told beforehand though, and it saved me the heartache? Yeah, probably. But I know also, humans have to sometimes face things to feel that. And a mentor's not going to stop you necessarily from making all mistakes. You're going to make some, but it's going to be in a controlled environment. But would you rather pay to skip that time, or would you rather pay with your time? For me, money is limitless, it's unlimited, it's everywhere. As you can tell by the government, who keep somehow getting billions and millions to bomb people who look like me, civilians, endlessly, since the beginning of, since the Crusades. But they have no money to feed them. Money is unlimited, it's printed, it's made up. You can raise money from anywhere. Time, however, is something that these, billionaire pedophiles, right? These lot, they can't get that back, right? You can have all the money in the world, but you cannot make time or create time or bend time to your will. So therefore, would you rather pay to save time? I would. That's why, Uber, Airbnb, delivery services, Huel, £1 billion valuation. These things save time, right? AI saves so much time. You listening to me instead of searching tools that saves time, right? People want to save time. Time is so valuable. So if you have the money, there's a decision that you are making, right? You're choosing that. And again, look around. All rich people have mentors. That's my notes literally say. All rich people have mentors. Why are you special? 1% of us are special. I don't really class myself in that 1% either. I'm kind of a hybrid. I've had mentors I will have for specific things. Generally, I'm alright myself, but I'm not founding a $1 billion company. I don't want to either, you know what I mean? And some people say, oh, I can't afford it. Although they've just said how much money they have to, I've got 100 grand to put in M&A, I've got 100 grand to put in property. Oh, I can't afford a mentee, I can't afford a mentor. Right, I think sometimes you can't afford not to, because of the shit's gonna happen if you don't have one. And look, it's not for everyone. Some people don't work well with a mentor, like telling them what to do, how to. Some people are just like, you know what, F it. I'm just gonna jump in, and we'll figure it out, I'll learn it myself, I'll read lots of books, I'll listen to lots of podcasts, and they'll get it, and they are the special few that will get it. It isn't for everyone, but I definitely know that when you're being dragged out of an environment like being employed, and you're suddenly employed, it really is sink or swim, and some people are there doing doggy paddle, they're there like, literally like a dog that's been thrown in the water, who can't swim, or like a spider in water. And if you've seen Spider-Man, you know that spiders don't like water. So, what are you gonna do about it, It is definitely a personal decision, but for me, if you're not going to do it, you think you're not going to do it, if you're the kind of person who needs to be held accountable, you're coming straight out of a job, you want to save time and save money, even though you are spending money, a significant amount of money, you are still saving money. If you are someone who wants to do that, or feels like you are these things and sees all these rich, successful people and says, well, they've all got mentors, why haven't I? And you can afford it, or you can arrange some sort of structure with the person, people, whatever the mentorship looks like. I'm definitely in favor of it for the majority of people. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a program over a year or 6 months. It can just be you pay. And I always say this, I want to have a waste removal business. I want to find the best waste removal person in my area. I want to pay to meet up with them, pay for their food, absolutely pick their brains, right? Get your money's worth in that time. And sometimes that's all you need, I had a phone call with someone the other day, a consulting call on a property project, and just a couple of things he said might totally transform what I do on this project. Just because he has more experience doing the luxury high-end things. Now, if that saves me thousands of pounds and I paid someone 300-400 quid for that time, amongst other things I learned, that's a pretty flipping good ROI. But I get it, people don't realize this ROI is possible. People also don't know who to trust, how to trust people. It's very tough to believe people on social media. It always has been, and has it always been? At least in my sort of 5-6 years, it always has been, and it always will be. But my view is, to answer the headline, do you actually need a mentor? It's always a case of it depends. But for the majority of people, especially people going from employed to self-employed, I think you need some level of mentorship. Genuinely, I think you do. That's just my opinion though, so take from that what you will. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and leave a review. You can do that on Spotify or on YouTube. You can leave a comment. Leave a hate comment, hey? Miserable ass.